Manitoba proud out here. You do Manitoba proud.
Yes, Jordan.
A couple other people that are doing Manitoba proud. One of them is your candidate for the People's Party here in Portage Lisgar, Solomon Weeb. Another is our candidate in the PROMISSES riding, Noel Gautran. To the stage, please, gentlemen. They'd love to tell you a little bit about their campaigns, what they believe in, and why PPC has a legitimate chance in this election in these two ridings. Solomon first here.
Thank you, Jordan. So as he said, my name is Solomon Weeb. I'm the People's Party candidate for Portage Lisgar here. I spoke a bit before, but it is so encouraging to see how many people came out here. Not only for myself, but it should be for all of you too. Everybody here realizes that the media peddles lies and one-sidedness. They all realize that we need to come together in unity as a community, and that a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. One of my commitments, along with what I said before, is that all of my constituents can contact me personally, not an assistant, not a secretary. My personal cell phone number is on the back of those flyers on those tables over there, because I believe the people should be able to contact the person who's representing them.
So just so you know, this is the boring section. Hello there, just as Jordan just mentioned, my name is Noel Gautran. I'm a lifelong resident of Ile-des-Chênes of the riding of PROMISSES. It's my great honor to be running under the PPC banner and Maxime Bernier. Like many of you living here, I've been worrying a lot lately about the erosion of our most cherished Canadian values and fundamental freedoms. It has only become more evident and alarming over the last 18 months. As such, I'm running to represent the residents of PROMISSES.
Jordan.
For many years now, I've been observing the Conservative Party speak platitudes about issues that affect the Conservative base voters. Voters that in effect had nowhere else to place their votes. In 2018, I was moved by Maxime Bernier's courage and conviction when he left the Conservative Party and founded the People's Party of Canada. I decided then that I wanted to be part of his movement for a true conservative option. Having a true conservative option to vote for is critical to protect these fundamental freedoms and Canadian values today. Our current government is pushing for more and more repressive and unconstitutional measures and legislation that take away freedoms for you, the individual, and most blatantly with their recent push for vaccine mandates and vaccine passports. These mandates will break apart the things that hold us together cohesively as a culture and as a nation. Families have been divided and friendships broken. It is truly a horrible thing which it has caused great division among us. This affects all of us and has already been incredibly destructive. It cannot be left to stand. The People's Party of Canada strongly opposes any coercive measures like vaccine mandates as well as vaccine passports and lockdowns. As the MP for PROMISSES, I will also be firmly against these measures, and I will fight for you in Parliament to prevent these from coming to pass. No government should be making personal medical decisions on behalf of individual citizens. The good news is there is a great movement afoot that is pushing hard against these draconian measures. A movement that all of you here today are part of, and a movement that is growing from grassroots and gathering momentum. Seeing a crowd like here today is invigorating. I'd like to express my profound admiration for you all. You are patriots standing up for your family, your friends, and your community, and for that I commend you. You give me great hope for our future and the future of all Canadians. The People's Party of Canada, as well as myself, will not falter in protecting our charter rights and fundamental freedoms. I know many of you are concerned with vote splitting and the potential of putting the current government back in power. This is a fear that is understandable given how terribly the current government has been governing. But here's the reality of the situation. At present, there is little difference in between the Conservative Party of Canada and the Liberal Party of Canada. A vote for the People's Party is an opportunity to elect true conservatives who aren't afraid to enact truly conservative policies. So for those who are concerned about vote splitting, I say that it is time to make a stand and send a message. It's time to have our voices heard. Let's show the Conservatives that they cannot take our votes for granted. So in closing, I would like to invite you all to join me, as well as the People's Party of Canada, in fighting for our rights and individual liberty. On September 20th, vote for the true Conservative option. Vote for the People's Party of Canada.
Thank you, gentlemen. A vote for these two will not be wasted. It shows the political will of the people in this country. A vote for the PPC is a vote for freedom. Remember that. We talked about these a little bit here today. Anybody know what this is? What I'm holding here today? One of these fake COVID fines. Tens of thousands of these have been handed out around Canada in the last 16 months. Who here has gotten one of these? Raise your hand. Yes, yes, yes. Maxime's got a few. Badges of honor. Wear them all like badges of honor. And you know what the reality is? Who here has been convicted in a court of law, guilty of one of these? I don't see any hands. I don't see one. All they are fear and intimidation. That's the only card they have.
False evidence appearing real. That's all they have.
Now here's a man that will not bow to the fear and intimidation. He will stand in spite of it, no matter if it's COVID fines, no matter if it's arrests outside of St. Pierre. This man will stand like no other federal leader currently is. Ladies and gentlemen, the future Prime Minister of Canada, Maxime Bernier!
Hello, everybody! You are giving me a lot of energy to go on and on and on until we win that battle. Just before being here, I spoke with a lady and she told me, Maxime, I wanted to see you last time you were in Manitoba. I said, yes. It was a little bit difficult because I was in jail. But I'm ready to go back in jail to fight for our freedoms. You can count on me.
Show me another leader making that statement.
You are here today because, like me, you know that without freedom, there's no human dignity, equality of rights, economic prosperity. You are here today because you know that freedom is the fundamental value of our Western civilization. And you are here today because you know that our rights and freedoms are under attack by these authoritarian governments, and you are ready to fight for your way of life. And you have a choice. You know, you have a choice for this election. There's 4 traditional establishment political parties that are all the same on COVID passport. And your conservative MP here and in this province, they were not with us when all that started in the beginning of that COVID hysteria. We, the End the Lockdown Caucus, myself with Randy Hillier in Ontario, we crossed the country and we did rallies, and we were saying at that time that every business is essential. We said that we must reopen our churches. And at that time, we didn't have a lot of people with us, but we were every time they're outside with you in the street, and now the movement is growing. A lot of people understand that this election will be a referendum on, do you want more government control over your life, always more government control, or more freedom? We choose freedom. And that's why there's no splitting the vote when you choose freedom. Erin O'Toole and the Conservative are taking your vote for granted. That's what they are doing. And they are telling you the only argument not to support your values, not to vote for what you believe, not to vote for the PPC is because, oh, you will split the vote. Do you really believe that when you elected a Conservative member of Parliament with more than 70% of the votes, that you'll have a Liberal or an NDP that will be elected here in Manitoba? No. Impossible. The only thing that can happen if you support the PPC, you'll have a real Conservative that will fight for you and that will be with you all the time. Not fake one, that only Conservative in the name. And what Erin O'Toole is doing right now is giving more credibility to the leftist narrative. That's what he's doing, like he's speaking like Justin Trudeau. So he's not speaking about conservative values. You know, on climate change, that's the same thing, more and more carbon tax. I can go on with balancing the budget. That's a good one. If you're a fiscal conservative and you want to think for the future generations, for your kids and grandkids, you must be serious in balancing the budget. But O'Toole said he's asking for a 4 years mandate, and he said that he will balance the budget in 10 years. So that's not serious. But the worst of that, at the French debate, he had a question about balancing the budget. I will translate that for you because I'm pretty sure that he won't say that in English. He said, when he had a question about that, the journalist said, what is your position for balancing a budget? He said, yeah, we'll balance the budget in 10 years. But the journalist asked a second question. How will you do that? Oh, and he said, without cuts. So can you understand? They will spend billions of dollars, and he's saying the same thing like Trudeau. The budget will balance itself. That's what he said. It won't happen under our watch because I'm not here to tell you that I will give more of your own money in your own pockets because I'm fiscally responsible. I'm here to telling you that it will be a tough time, the 4 years, if we have a PPC government, because we will balance the budget. But we know what to do. There's a lot of expenses that we can cut, and I'll give you an example, and I want to start by that one because they're supposed to be here today. Yeah, as you know, the CBC, the mainstream national media, they ignore us. There's no PPC. But today, they called my office and they said, we want to follow Bernier. I said, okay, you're welcome in Manitoba. And I told them, come here, have a discussion with our people. Maybe they're here, but I don't just want to tell you that we're gonna be able to save $1 billion by cutting the CBC. Same thing with foreign aid. You know, the UN and these international organization like the World Health Organization. Yeah. No more of our own money, and we can save $5 billion there. But yes, we are generous Canadians, and if there's a humanitarian crisis or an environmental crisis somewhere in the world, we'll be there. But we won't be there to fight climate change in Africa. Do you really believe that giving money to these African dictatorship, they will use that money to fight climate change? I doubt. And anyway, the climate is always changing, and it will change. So. And we are saying yes to pipelines. I think it's important to be able to build pipelines in this country. But O'Toole, Trudeau, Jack Mead, and all these establishment leaders, they share the same policies. You know, I call them the Lib-Con party, but also they have a leader, and their leader is Justin O'Toole. They're the same. So let's tell them that this election is an important one. And when Justin Trudeau said to civil servants in Ottawa that if they don't have the 2 shots, if they don't have the vaccine passport, there will be consequences. That's what he said. So translation is saying to his own employees, if you don't take the vaccine passport, I will punish you. But I can tell you who will punish who the 28th of September. We will punish him. We will do that together. Because he is the most divisive prime minister in our history. He has been dividing us by race, by gender, by religion, and now by vaccination status. We are saying no to racial politics. We are saying no to identity politics. We are saying no to political correctness, and we are saying yes to our way of life, and we want to unite all Canadians under the freedom umbrella. That's what we will do the 28th of September. Because we are all in the same boat. Vaccinated people and unvaccinated people. They are Canadians, and now we have the science on our side. We always had the common sense on our side, knowing that the common sense is not that common these days. But, you know, we're going to be able to speak to our fellow Canadians, and I believe that they will come on our side. Why? Because that was a lie. When the medical expert working for the federal government told them that take the 2 shots, that will be important to protect yourself. I agree with that. If you decided to take the vaccine, if you have COVID-19, you'll have mild symptoms. It's okay. But what they were saying also, take it for your community, to be a good citizen, for your family. That was not true, because we know that everybody can spread the virus. The virus does not care if you're vaccinated or not. Everybody can spread the virus. So that's why doing that segregation and discrimination. And I understand that that vaccine passport will have an expiration date, maybe in 8 months, when these governments will tell you, you need to have a third shot, a fourth one, a fifth one. And as you know, Justin Trudeau bought for $60 million the booster shots until 2024. So when they're gonna say to vaccinated Canadians that we respect, that was their choice, because we believe in freedom of choice. You must do what you want to do with your body. Actually, my body, my choice. So everybody must be able to decide what they want to do with their body. And with the informed consent, with the right information. So these people decided to have the vaccine. But in 8 months, their vaccine passport won't be valid anymore. It will be expired because they will need a third and a fourth and a fifth shot. And I believe that these people didn't think about that in the beginning. And they don't want to live in a show me your papers society, every place that you want to go. And actually it's coming everywhere. The vaccine passport is in force in Quebec right now. It will be enforced before the end of this month in Ontario. It will be enforced in BC. And it will be enforced everywhere because Justin Trudeau and O'Toole said that they're ready to give $1 billion to provinces to help them to impose a vaccine passport. So these politicians at the provincial level will do it, like in Quebec right now. And you know, it's not based on science, it's not based on common sense, but there's no logic there. I'll give you an example in Quebec. I cannot go to a restaurant, I cannot go to my gym, I cannot go to the theater, but I can go to my church. What is the difference? There's no virus in my church and the virus is everywhere in the restaurant. That's not based on science. It's based on compliance and government control, and I'm saying no to that. And I want you to let you know that you're not alone. Today you're not alone, but all across this country. I was in New Brunswick last weekend, and as you know, they voted Liberals over there. But we did a rally over there in a park, and we had 100, 200, 250 people coming. And all these people that voted Liberals or NDP, some of them are coming and supporting the PPC because for them, the most important issue for this election is our way of life. They know that we are going to be a socialist country and a communist country when you are asking your citizen to show up papers to participate in the civil society. They're coming and they know, so our support is not coming only for former conservative voters, but for people who voted for other political parties. Because they know that we are doing politics differently. When I'm saying that, it is not a slogan, that's a reality. We created the PPC based on 4 principles: individual freedom, personal responsibility, respect, and fairness. And our goal is to win that battle of ideas. And the campaign, the electoral campaign of today is the same one that we ran on the last campaign in 2019, the same platform, the same 4 principles. We just have to update a little bit our platform by changing Andrew Scheer by Aaron O'Toole. And that will be the same platform at the next election. We are doing politics based on principles. And that's why, you know, I'm speaking about what I believe. and I believe that we are the right vision for this country. And actually, we have a vision of a smaller government in Ottawa that will respect taxpayers, respect your rights and freedoms, and also will respect the Constitution. And if you do that, you'll have a radical decentralization, a small government in Ottawa, and a government in your province, in every province, that will have more autonomy, because we believe that the best government is the government that is near the people. And that was the basic of our Constitution. All the most important power and jurisdictions that the father of our Constitution, they gave that to the provincial level, and we want to go back to that. There's a Western alienation in this country, and when I'm doing an interview in Atlantic Canada or in Ontario, they ask me, "Oh, Bernier, it's going well for you in Western Canada?" I said yes, but not only there. And I told them, do you know that people in Western Canada are fed up with Ottawa? Do you know that they have a reason for that? Because it's unfair what is happening. They cannot build pipelines, and we are imposing more taxes on them. And I'm the only politician that is speaking about that, because the other establishment politicians don't want to say that you're not happy here in Western Canada about the policies in Ottawa. They don't want to have the discussion, and that's why the cartel, the media cartel, the establishment politician cartel, didn't want me on the stage for the debate. But you know, it won't be a debate next week. That will be a conversation with politicians that share the same views on the most important issues for our country, because we're not there. But I can tell you, I will answer their questions. Be connected to your Twitter account or my Facebook account, and the night of that debate, it will be easy to answer in one sentence their questions. I'll tell the truth and the facts. That will be important for everybody to understand. But I won't be there. I won't be there in person, but I can tell you that I'll be somewhere in this country, traveling and meeting people like you, because we need more support. We had at the last election 300,000 people that voted for the PPC. Imagine if all of these voters, find 10 people that didn't vote for the PPC, will be at 3 million voters. We will be around 16% in the pool. So we can have that revolution in Canada for this election. You can count on me. You can count on our candidates all across the country. And by the way, we have 310 candidates that are ready to fight for you, for your rights. And here in Manitoba, in every riding, we have a PPC candidate that is there and ready to work for you. And so I need your support, but I believe Canada needs our voice, the only freedom voice in this country. And I can tell you that after that election, we will have freedom fighters in Parliament that will ask the real questions and do the real debates for the future of this country. And our candidates will put our country first. We are saying no to the globalists, and we will fight for our sovereignty as a country, but also they will put Canadian first. And I can tell you that I was in BC and a lady came to me and said, "Maxime, I've read your platform and I don't understand. I like everything in your platform. I went on your website and I've read that and I like everything. And it's the first time, I'm 65 years old, and the first time that I agree with everything that a politician is saying." And she said, "I don't understand." I'll tell you why. Why? Because we are doing politics differently, because you agree with the 4 principles: individual freedom, personal responsibility, respect and fairness, and all our policies are in line with these principles. That's why you like everything that we are doing in our platform, because we won't do any compromise with our principle. And speaking about compromise, we are in a socialist era. It is everywhere. In the school, the woke culture, the socialists are everywhere. At the university, in the journalists, they're not journalists anymore, especially the mainstream national media. They're activists, leftists. So it's all over, that woke culture. And we need to fight that. That's a long fight, but we will have a big step at the 20th of September. And like Margaret Thatcher in UK, when she was the leader of the opposition at that time, and yes, socialism was everywhere in UK at that time, and she fought for her principles, free market principles and freedom, and she was able to be elected and prime minister. But at the end of her career, she did an interview, very interesting, and a journalist asked her, what was the thing that you didn't like in politics? You know, when you had discussion with the other politicians. And she said, the word that I didn't like was consensus and compromise. Why? Every politicians, when they're gathering together, they try to have a consensus on one issue or another. And trying to have a consensus, they're doing compromise. And she said, I never compromise with my principle, and that's why we need to do that. We need not to compromise with our principle, and you can count on us to do that for you. On the election day, you're right. On the election day, we need to send a strong message to the woke and everybody that we want to gain back our way of life and our freedoms. And I count on you, because I'm pretty sure that you'll use social media, you'll use the real life, speak to your friends and family about the PPC, and more support we will have. And I believe that these leftists will have a shock the 28th of September, a big shock, because they don't expect that. They think that, you know, we're a little movement that will die. We were supposed to die after the last election with only 1.6% of the vote. But we are growing. And do you know that it took 20 years and 6 elections for the Green Party of Canada to have more than 1.6% of the vote? And we did that our first year and our first election. And now we are the fastest growing political party in the history of this country, and that's only the beginning. Because when tyranny becomes law, revolution becomes our duty. It is our duty to stand up and speak out for what we believe, and we will do that together. So I hope that you understand that a vote for O'Toole is a vote for Trudeau. You know, they're saying, you know, a vote for Bernier is a vote for Trudeau. I don't understand that, you know. Look at our platform. The only thing that I have in common with Justin Trudeau is great hair. Is when he started the campaign, the Sunday when he started the campaign, he said, this election must be about the way that I managed the COVID-19 crisis because I was very generous to Canadians, but with money that we don't have. He created a $354 billion deficit. But I agree with him. The ballot questions must be that. Do you want more and more and more of the same? More lockdowns, more curfew, more stay-at-home orders, and all that?
No.
Like me, or more freedom? That will be the question, and that's why this party is growing and growing, and you can count on us. That will be a fun night. And that being said, I just want to close, and I'll be with you. I'll stay with you until they told me 5 or 5:15, but I'll be with you. But before ending my speech, I want to quote a great leader in the US. I quoted John Diefenbaker yesterday, and John Diefenbaker, when he said, I'm a Canadian, I'm a free Canadian, and I have the right to decide what is good for myself, something like that. That's a leader that we had in Canada that always fought for our rights and our freedom. And in the US, you had another politician that said, John F. Kennedy in 1961, during the civil rights challenges, if I can express myself like that, and he said at his inaugural speech in front of millions of Americans that in the long history of the world, only few generations have been granted the role of defending freedom in its maximum hour of danger. You are that generation. This is your role, and now is the time. We will defend our freedoms against these authoritarian government. Now is the time for everybody. Thank you.
Maxime Bernier! Solomon is going to thank a few people here because this took a lot of effort to put this on.
I just need to thank all of our volunteers, the trailer guys, the banner guys, the table guys, Doug Enns with the parking, James Clausen with the parking. We're a grassroots movement, and it doesn't happen unless the people do it. If we do nothing, nothing happens. So it's time to get off our butts and stand up for what we believe in.
Thank you to everybody here that came out on this Labor Day holiday. A reminder, if you do not have a PPC shirt or a hat or a hoodie, go see the ladies over there on the side. They have, I think, still some merch available, some signs available. And I just want to end on this one thing too, because this is very important. Yes, we are here because of a federal party and the movement that is happening. But that movement is bigger than a federal party. It's a movement of the people for freedom. And Max is coming along and he's empowering people to keep going. We also have a very important provincial race coming up here in Manitoba. Okay? There's a gentleman by the name of Ken Lee that, just like Max, is very outspoken about not being vaccinated by choice, not being for any of this tyranny, and standing up for our rights and freedoms as Manitobans. We need 1,000 memberships. The vote is on September 30th to instill Ken Lee as the Conservative leader of Manitoba in place of Brian Pallister. There's a sign-up table over here. I want to encourage everybody to come over and visit them as well. Thank you, Winkler, and God bless!
Yes, thank you, Gordon.
What an event.
Yeah, that's incredible, huh? How you doing? Let's finish it. See CBC downplay this event and say there were 200 people here. Thousands. for the dreams.